All right. Good morning. We are here to talk about a student, and I just want to kind of briefly go over everybody's role here, but I'm going to share my screen if Zoom lets me share my screen. So thank you for being here. I know it's early in the morning. Can everybody see my screen? Okay, cool. All right, so just to recap, some of us are more familiar with the student than others. So we have a student who is displaying some signs of moderate suicide risk. So I met with him yesterday and um, went through the suicide risk assessment and did find that he is moderate. So we've already put in a few interventions into place, but I just want to update the team um, so that we know kind of how to handle Alex moving forward. So Lindsay Hoschel, you're here as admin. I'm the counselor. Miss Newman is our school social worker. Haley Peck is our school psychologist. Bradford is our academic advisor, and Miss Abram is our English teacher. So Miss Abram's actually the one that brought Alex to my attention. Miss Abram, do you want to give just a quick background on what you've noticed about Alex in the classroom?
Sure. I became really concerned when Alex completed an assignment and he left a comment on his assignment, and I did proceed to check in with him. I've been also noticing his social kind of decline. He's been with a lot of increasingly withdrawn in terms of his peers and his interactions as well.
All right, thank you. So, and I've checked in with his other teachers and everybody's kind of seeing the same thing. So at this point, we want to make sure that we are supporting Alex the best way possible, at school, at home, and also his family during this. So the suicidal ideation, when I spoke with Alex yesterday, he does not have a clear plan, but there's definitely a history of suicidal thoughts. He's currently feeling pretty hopeless, signs of depression there. We're seeing social withdrawal. There's also a family history of mental illness and of depressive symptoms. So there's a couple things we need to do. We need to implement an immediate safety plan and long-term ongoing support measures. So that's what we're here to discuss. So the first step here, the immediate safety intervention. So I've already, like I said, conducted the risk assessment. I've talked to his mother. She understands the seriousness of the situation. We talked about removing, um, anything that could assist in a suicide attempt at home, anything that could assist in self-harm. So mom is on board, but it's clear that the family doesn't really know how to handle the situation. So we're hoping to put in some long-term supports for them. One thing that I would like Bradford and Haley your help with is making sure that Alex has support while he's at school. We don't want him alone if possible. Bradford, what are your thoughts on, because we're a little bit worried about transitions, there's been cases where he's cut class and we don't really know where he is. Just to keep him safe, would you be able to add him to the escort list?
Yeah, we can absolutely do that.
Okay. And then just as far as safe spaces go and regular check-ins, Miss Abram, you see him first thing in the morning. So if I set up a check-in with him myself, a couple times a week, would you be able to just kind of monitor him in the morning as he's coming in to kind of gauge how he's doing and report anything that seems off?
Absolutely, that's no problem at all.
Okay, and I'll send out an email to all the teachers to make sure we're on the same page. I do want Alex to have a safe space. So whether that's with an academic advisor, he mentioned being really close to Mr. Burke and Mr. Robinson. So I'll reach out to them and just make sure Alex has some places to go if he's feeling overwhelmed or in distress. And then Haley, as we move forward here, um, we may need to do an evaluation for him, and I might need your help just kind of putting resources together for the family.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. Okay, so mental health and community referrals. We are going to refer, I've already put in a wellness referral to get him set up with therapy here. The paperwork is filled out. Mom is on board with that. The family does not have any kind of assistance. So, Ms. Newman, what kinds of outside support would you be able to offer in this situation?
We could hook the parents up with Medicaid, and with that, we could do a referral to PBH, which is through Division of Family Services. It's a mental health services that works with Medicaid patients that don't have resources or funding. We also have a community support with Delaware Guidance. I could make a referral to, but that would go, also, they also work with Medicaid if the parents don't have private insurance.
Okay, amazing. So, do you feel comfortable reaching out to the family as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I could do that.
Okay, awesome. Moving into some school-based support. So like I said, we'll set up some regular check-ins, whether it's with me, if Miss Newman's in the building, as she develops a rapport with Alex, that's another support. And I'm going to make sure the teachers are on board with like understanding, you know, we're not going to overshare, but just making sure teachers know that this is a time to be more supportive for Alex. So maybe decreasing workload, giving some extra time. I'll talk to Alex about kind of encouraging him to go to Thursday extra help if he has a way to get home after school. So I'll be communicating with Alex's teacher. So Ms. Abram, just keep an eye out on that. And then we already talked about our safe space plan. So Ms. Hoschel, if you have any other ideas for that, especially coming from just being a part of MTSS, any other thoughts for how we can support Alex while he's in school?
Yeah, we can definitely add him to our MTSS roll call sheet. Additionally, this might be a good place to look at some of our tier 2, maybe tier 3 supports throughout the day for our social and emotional health. So he might be able to join some of our small circles to receive some additional support, either through discipline or through one of our guidance members.
Okay, amazing. And then we'll keep monitoring attendance, just pulling that data, engagement, academics, all the things. All right. So one thing that I want to, just from conversation with mom yesterday, it is really tough at home. So as much, and I know we talked about this briefly, but as much as we can help, just from our own expertise and our own resources and connections, just giving this family some education on what these behaviors mean, how to talk about things at home, how to support Alex and each other through this time. Because like I said, there's some mental health struggles within that immediate nuclear family too. So we want to make sure that they're not burning out, getting overwhelmed, kind of making things worse on each other. So any resources that we have will set up the family and continue educating them through this. All right, so I've already shared the crisis hotline with both Alex and his mom. So if there is a situation, we will be ready to handle that. You know, in accordance with our school policy and protocols. We will continue counselor check-ins for a while. So this is a long-term situation. It's been building over the past year for Alex. So I want to make sure that he knows he has a team behind him advocating for him. He's not alone here. So for the next 6 to 8 weeks, we'll continue our check-ins. I'll check in with teachers every couple weeks, just a quick email. And then one thing that I want to do is Alex is not involved in anything here. So I want to talk to some of the club mentors and find out if we can get him involved in just something in the school building, even if it's one of the 5th period clubs, just to give him some way to connect and something to look forward to in his day. And then over time, we'll gradually restore those academic demands as he's able to perform better. Okay, I'm gonna minimize the screen. So the handout that I'll put in your mailboxes since we're on Zoom today is our intervention plan. And then I'll just ask that everybody sign this and I'll give you a copy, but we've got the reason for referral. And then, like I've said, there's already some things that I've checked off here. So whatever your role is, you can see under the responsible staff as we support Alex over the long haul here, you'll just kind of check off the date completed to make sure we're on base. And because it's November, holidays are approaching, we have a long break coming up. I do want to check in a little bit earlier than that, 6 to 8 weeks. So as a team, if we can meet on December 15th, it's a Monday, just to kind of go over what we've seen. I'll have a better handle on kind of how Alex is feeling at that point, and the family will have had some resources. Wellness will be involved, so we'll check in again before break so that we know we're sending Alex off into the ethers in the best possible situation. All right, so that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions? See if I can stop sharing. Stop share. Okay, any questions for me or for us?
My question is, who will communicate with the rest of his academic team?
I will do that. I'll
Okay, thank-
communicate with teachers. And then we'll talk, Haley, about possible evaluation on our end if we feel like there's some other things going on there. Academically, behaviorally, but at this point, I don't see any concern. It seems to be, pretty mental health related, but a check-in on our end, I think from you would be really helpful. And then if you have any resources to pull for his family as well, that'd be great.
All right, thank you. I'll share what I have with you, and that way we can reach out as a team.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'm gonna end the meeting now. So, okay. Stop.